All right. And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here to talk about all things professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring. Superstar, news, rumors, promotional rumors, WWE, AEW, you name it. Just going to reflect on what we talked about right quick. We talked about our WWE SmackDown preview. We talked about my Thursday Night Wrestling review. We stepped into the ring of TNA Impact and the world of Ring of Honor. And then we recently talked about my SummerSlam predictions. Who's going to win the titles here? It looks like a pretty juicy match card. SummerSlam taking place in Cleveland, Ohio, Cleveland Brown Stadium on Saturday. So it should be pretty dope. But we're going to talk about, will WWE ever give AEW a chance to work with them? Honestly, it's right now, like what I mentioned before, it's kind of like 85-15%, like a huge no. But for the first time since 2001, you kind of have two wrestling corporations that are kind of going not head to head, so to speak, but kind of giving somebody a run for their money. Kind of like, alongside the support from the co-founders, Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, Jacksonville Jaguars owner Tony Khan launched All Elite Wrestling in 2019. And I think they're doing really, really well. They have a major television deal, strong crowd, an amazing presence on social media, top free agent acquisitions. Its strongest year was in 2021. Of course, that's when they had CM Punk along with Cody Rhodes and stuff like that. They've had some pretty good ratings for being in such a small wrestling promotion. Turner Television once again putting their chips all in with All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan. And I think it's panned out. Honestly, I think it's panned out 1,010%. And, unlike, back in 2001 with WCW, it was on cable network. Not a lot of people probably could afford cable. I definitely couldn't afford it, cable and stuff like that. As soon as I did, of course, I watched Nitro and like Thunder and Raw but now social media just makes it so much easier. Now you can just pay for a subscription for Peacock and get wrestling pay-per-views that you usually pay like $50 to like $90 worth. I remember buying the Royal Rumble in 2006, and I think I paid like $70. It was a lot. My mom was pissed, but she knew I liked it. She knew I was a huge wrestling fan, so definitely definitely, kudos to her. Thank you, Ma. But something that All Elite Wrestling should never really hang their head low about is that WWE has been along since the 80s. WWF. They have a way bigger fan base, had more chances to kind of appeal to different generations of fans, as opposed to AEW. AEW right now was kind of riding on that, demographic of, I would say probably late 20s, early 50s. No, late 20s, mid 40s, because they do have adult content. Adult content, where girls, they're doing their thing. They're swearing. Tony Schiavone's calling Mariah May the B word, which was funny as hell, which was absolutely awesome. I thought that was pretty cool. You have blood, so much blood in so many matches. You have the Anarchy in the Ring match, Darby Allin lighting people on fire. It's great. I love AEW. It's definitely a new twist and turns, but a lot of speculation surrounded AEW, especially when Tony Khan was open about it. Tony Khan does at times, he called WWE the Harvey Weinstein of the wrestling industry, but that's just talking smack. That's just, talking smack about your enemies, which, overall, it heightens up the crowd. Gets the crowd interested, gets them into this wrestling battle, like promotional battle, a war, the new Monday Night War, which I don't think it is. It will never be the Monday Night War. I know Eric Bischoff gives a lot of hate to Tony Khan and AEW because people always compare it to WCW, and it'll never be the same. It never is the same. And AEW, why would you even want to be like WCW, dude? Recently, you saw Shane McMahon meet up with Tony Khan. Shane McMahon said he took the meeting with Tony Khan. basically saying that he's, wanted to talk, congratulated him on his business being successful since 2019. That's huge. They survived the pandemic. Any small business or any business that survived the pandemic is, looking pretty good. 1,010%. Shane McMahon went to WWE first, was ultimately torn down because Shane McMahon ultimately wanted to step back into the ring. But after you saw at WrestleMania 39, where he attempted to do a move, he had a booking with The Miz and Snoop Dogg where he ultimately jumped up, tore his ACL, I think it was. I don't know, something. It was crazy. It's like, oh, Shane, you know what? You're not really cut out for the ring. So Shane was like, all right, then screw you. I'm going to AEW. The talks of Shane McMahon possibly join AEW. Even Jim Ross said it. AEW needs Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon could definitely be, you see it with Chris Jericho on the learning tree. Chris Jericho, he's getting up there in age, but he's still able to put on some good matches. He's the leader of a faction where he could be like, kind of reminds me of like the Millionaires Club in terms of WCW. Not like WCW, but, would kind of give me that feel where Shane McMahon would ultimately kind of have a little stable in himself. Maybe he devises a team to take down the Elite. That would be actually a pretty good storyline, to be honest. Maybe AEW should hire me, dude. I'm just kidding, no. But no, I would love that. That'd be awesome. But, Chief Content Officer Triple H, he kind of, when he took over WWE, he knows about professional wrestling. He has has working relationships with the likes of TNA right now and pro wrestling, NOAH. And, it's been confirmed that WWE, wants to say that AEW, WWE future, they have no interest in doing it. And I don't know. I think that's stupid. I don't like that. So, Executive Vice WWE Executive Vice President and Talent Relations and Head of Communications Chris Legentle declared that WWE has no interest in working with AEW on a combined card. He said, and I quote, "I just want to make it clear, there's definitely a variety of excellent talent that don't currently reside in WWE. There is no shot that there is being fired," Legenta said. It's just to say the answer to your question is no. No conversation has to be had in relation to that. I don't know. It's crazy. And AEW president Tony Khan did not fully dismiss the idea of collaborating with WWE. Should the appropriate opportunity present itself, he said, and I quote, he said, if WWE came calling to you, no, he was asked if WWE came calling to you, not even necessarily a collaborative show, but just to share talent, share promotion, would you consider AEW to be open for a business with WWE? Comicbook.com's Liam Crowley asked Tony Khan. And Khan answered, he said, it's an interesting thought. Khan responded, it would, depend on the circumstances. You have both promotions having huge, absolutely huge, PLEs happening. Obviously WWE with SummerSlam, AEW with, All In. You have Bryan Danielson putting his career on the line against, Swerve Strickland's AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Lastly, that I'll kind of, before we put this thing to bed, it just kind of sucks because if you were both a WCW fan and a WWE fan, like I said, I know AEW is not like WCW. But we wanted to see matches like Sting versus The Undertaker. We wanted to see matches like DDP taking on Triple H. We wanted to see Booker T take on Shawn Michaels. We wanted to see Goldberg take on, Stone Cold Steve Austin and stuff like that. They're just, the NWO taking on D-Generation X at a Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So like more of a modern day. Just imagine if you had Seth Rollins against Hangman Adam Page. Ooh, that'd be so cool. Oh my God. Kenny Omega taking on AJ Styles. That would be pretty damn awesome. That would be amazing. Maybe Roman Reigns, Jon Moxley, Seth Rollins comes back together to take down the Elite. But, we're not going to see stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like Cody Rhodes taking on Swerve Strickland would be pretty damn awesome. If I admit, oh, God, it's Will Ospreay would he'd have such a great match against Seth Rollins. That would be an amazing match. Dream match, to be honest. But, it's never going to happen. Sorry, AEW fans. Sorry, WWE fans. It hurts me too. I absolutely hate it. I despise it. It's disgusting. But, it's maybe they'll wise up in the future. Hopefully they do. For the wrestling fans. All right, moving on to our fifth and final segment. Like every Friday, I leave you guys with something to ponder about. Over the weekend, we're going to talk about my wrestling news roundup. So, hey, do not go anywhere.